Greetings, Calico fans. This is H.H. German from Sigma Comics, and I'm coming to you from the great city of New York. And today we have another cool video. And before we get into it, let me take a swig of the Calico mug, which is not available for sale at sigmacomics.com, but one day, maybe one day. Yeah, this is good. All right, so before we get into it, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, because I think you're gonna like this video. So I sometimes, YouTube is a wonderful thing. You can learn so much about it. I've certainly learned so much in the years that YouTube's been around. And I got to thinking the other day, I was between pages. I was writing issue 7, finishing up on issue 7. And I was thinking about just the incredible content that's on YouTube. And that's just, some of this stuff is just so good. And man, why is it, I find a lot of the creativity lacking in comic books. Not only in comic books, but in theater and in shows, just in entertainment media in general. And I thought, man, you know what would really, I just want something that's going to hit the spot right now, and that would be entertaining, okay? And I did a search for, I wanted to see the General Lee, okay, jumping, just the jumps, because I remember those jumps as a kid. I was like, geez, those jumps, some of those jumps are pretty crazy, And do you know that there's a video right now that you can see on YouTube, and I think it's called like all the General Lee jumps from the Dukes of Hazzards. I kid you not, I think it's like over 40 minutes long, and all the video is mostly Bo and Luke Duke, because I know there were 2 other guys there that were Bo and Luke Duke's cousins, but it was mostly Bo and Luke in the General Lee going over ramps. And they go up, you hear the country music playing real fast, and then they drive up, boom, they hit the jump, and you see it in slow motion, and you hear woo-hoo. And it was just a bunch of different, 40 minutes of that, okay? 40 plus minutes of Bo and Luke Duke. I'm not even kidding now. I watched a good 25, 30 minutes straight of just boom, woo-hoo. And that was entertaining. That was more entertaining than anything I've seen in a while. Okay, just that 40, 25, 30 minutes of that. And that got me thinking even more. I said, wow, I'm having such a fun time with this. Let me think back to like one of the craziest things I saw on that show. And I guarantee you, even that's probably going to be better than some of these comics I've read of late by the big 2, Marvel and DC. And sure enough, I said, how about that time that Lulu Hogg got into the General Lee and took that thing for a ride. And sure enough, I typed in Lulu drives the General Lee. I'm sorry, Lulu Hogg rides the General Lee. That's what I typed in on YouTube. Lulu Hogg drives General Lee. Holy crap, I think it's less than 4 minutes. And in that 4 minutes, I had more fun, okay, than reading any comic book that I have read in the past 20 years from Marvel and DC, okay? Seriously, do yourself a favor right now. I'm not kidding. Right now. You can even pause the video and go to another thing. Or just wait till it's over if you want. And do it. Type in Lulu Hogg rides the General Lee. And I guarantee you, okay, it's going to be better than, in that 4 minutes or 5 minutes, whatever it is better than any comic book you will have read in the past 20 years. Guaranteed. All right? That little segment there with Lulu riding that thing had more. It did everything that a really good comic book should do. It was entertaining. Okay, that's the main thing. Comics should always entertain. All right. It definitely was thrilling. Got my heart up. You know, there was suspense because there was an issue with the law, as always when it comes to the, you know, the Dukes of Hazzards. So there was conflict, right? So that's the essence of any good comic book story, right? Conflict. All these things, it's entertaining, there's conflict, there's suspense, it's thrilling in a matter of 4 to 5 minutes. You know, I don't even think it was 5 minutes. It was like 4 minutes. All right? Better than any comic book in the last 20 years. That's a huge thing to say. It's an unfortunate thing to say. Okay, now this, mind you, this is my own experience, okay? I'm not someone who, I'm not going to tell you that, sit here and tell you that I've been an avid comic book reader in the past 20 years. That's not the case. In fact, I only picked up a comic book again for the first time. I mean, there were other times, but, you know, not really, you know, seriously to actively begin reading again. I guess that would have been 2020, right? When I started Sigma Comics, right? Or when we started Sigma Comics. So, but again, you know, you look at some of these issues from, you know, 10 years ago, or you know, even a little further, and you look at that video, and you just, wow, this is really fun stuff. You know, why can't any comic book today accomplish this basic tenet of, you know, crafting compelling, fun entertainment? Well, there's lots of reasons for that. And, you know, I'm not going to go deep into those reasons, but I can tell you on the surface that there's a quality issue, right? There's certainly an access issue. You know, I've heard it said many times, well, there's tons of great stuff out there. You can go out and find it. I would say there's tons of great stuff. You know, there's some good stuff out there. There's some runs that are good. I think my understanding is the current Moon Knight series is a good one. Okay, now, you know, my friend Wes over there at Thinking Critical, and I apologize for the yawning. It's just late here in New York, but I wanted to get these videos out. My friend Wes has a show. It's called Thinking Critical. You may have heard about it. It's a very successful YouTube show. In fact, I think it's one of the best comic book news and opinion type you know, website, you know, a channel out there on YouTube. He just does a fantastic job. Not only him, but all the people he has there. He has a live stream that he does on Saturdays called the Comics Aficionados, and he gets a lot of very knowledgeable people like himself to get together and talk about the news of the day and sort of lend their opinions. And, you know, they do a fantastic job talking about a lot of the comics out there. And frankly, you know, not all of them are great, right? So, but yet they still find some to recommend. In fact, at the end of every show, he, you know, he finds quite a few. In fact, everyone on the show finds some comics to recommend. So it's not that they're all trash. There certainly is a collective quality issue in comics today. To not address that is simply disingenuous. And to say, oh, everything's great, it's just, you know, people aren't finding, yeah, that's disingenuous. There are very few titles out there that are really churning out the good content on a regular basis. And I do think, again, from what I understand, that the Moonlight product is doing very well. I mean, it looks great. I have seen it. So it's not like I have zero knowledge of it. I have certainly seen the book, and it looks incredible. I mean, from an artistic perspective, it looks beautiful. And again, my understanding is that they're doing a good job with the writing on it. So kudos to them on that. So yes, quality control issue, it's there. It's something that needs to be addressed, and hopefully sooner than later, because I don't think, you know, when you have an industry that continues to put out poor stuff, okay? And there's a distribution issue, an access issue, where not only is it hard to find, but when you do find it, it's not really that great. Well, guess what? There's a good chance that people stop going to try to find the bad stuff, or the poor stuff, or the subpar stuff, right? So if you realize that, how on earth are you going to put out inferior products? So it goes hand in hand. So quality issue, access issue, right? Then there's a price issue. Okay, your average comic these days, I don't know if for those of you who are not comic book readers, and our audience is mainly comic book readers, but we also have people who just support us because they love animals. Okay, for the uninitiated in the audience, price is an issue, and I think it's a big one. The average comic book these days. Okay, get ready. Again, those of you who aren't reading comics, get ready, because you're going to be frightened. Is in the area of $4 to $5 for a comic book. Yep, 24 pages, $4 to $5. Okay, you remember, as I did years ago, these comic books were roughly around the price of a candy bar. Okay, about $1, $1.50 kind of thing. A little more than a candy bar, but roughly speaking, around the price. Or maybe the right analogy, the reference would be a soda, a can of soda, something like that. You pay $1, $1 for $1.25, something like that, for a can of soda. Well, again, $4 or $5. Okay, and that's $4 on the low end, because if you go higher end, you're going to run into the $5, $6, $7 for a comic book. So, and again, this is for a 24-page comic book. Okay, $5, $6. Again on the high end. So that's not good. When you go to a comic book shop with $20 and you think you're going to walk out there with a bag of comics, a full bag of comics. No, you're going to walk out of there with maybe 4 comics, if that. And more than likely, you'll walk out of there with 3, if you're not looking at the price. So that's where we are in comics today. Again, we are not like that. We, Sigma Comics, we price our comic books at $2.99. So we definitely don't have that kind of problem with our comic books. And this is why we're very adamant to the comic book shop owners. We have a great price, we have a wonderful cause, and a great title that looks amazing. This is why we're able to sell over 100 pounds of comics every weekend. Listen, if we can sell 100 pounds of comics as non-salespeople, you should be able to sell at least 4 or 5, every week. This is what we tell to the comic book shop owners. And I'm telling you, they prefer a lot of them love to stick with their Marvel and DC and not, pump out the Here Comes Calico at the front of their store. They stick us in the back, and then you wonder why, you're not selling it. You have to sell it. You got to tell people about it. You got to educate it, as we do. And again, we sell 100 pounds of comics every weekend as non-salespeople. Okay, we're creatives. Okay, we create comics, so it's your job to sell them. And frankly, we're doing a better job than you are. So, listen, if you want to sell comics, sell Here Comes Calico at your store. All right. I know I segued a bit there, but this is all to say that in 4 to 5 minutes of watching Lulu drive that General Lee, I had more of a blast than reading a lot of these comics today. And that's a fact. And you know what? I think a lot of you will feel the same way. If you agree with me, let me know in the comments. If you don't, let me know in the comments as well. And before we sign out, I need you to hit that subscribe button, because you know the video was good. Hit that like button because you know it was on topic, and you know that Lulu riding that General Lee was damn entertaining. All right, so thank you for your support. We really do appreciate it. One last thing, we do have a Kickstarter right now, and that is issue number 7 of Here Comes Calico. It's on Kickstarter right now, so go on Kickstarter and type in Here Comes Calico, and you'll see issue 7. hit the back it button, back this project button, and select a reward, and you'll be good to go. You can get all sorts of things on the campaign. You can get issue 7, or if you've never had any of the issues, you can get the whole series right there. It's really fairly priced, and you get lots of goodies like stickers and whatnot once we receive our goals, once we achieve our goals, and I'm sure we will, as we always do. Why? Because we have the best fans in the world. People who love animals and hate animal cruelty, and that's why we are the comic book that fights animal abuse through comics. So what do I always say? Keep fighting for animals.